finally this morning, I want to get our week started by telling you some things that are really important to me. We call it Fay What's on my mind. Our trans siblings are being attacked left and right. I know in my heart that it just can't be all about hate. A lot of it is misinformation and fear. People fear what they don't know, what they don't understand. They claim the existence of trans people ignores basic biology. Some of the same people who try to deny trans rights based on the science also deny the fact that humans are at fault for global climate change and spread misinformation about COVID-19 and the vaccine. They aren't dealing with facts, and their anti-trans rhetoric is rooted in harmful beliefs. So I feel the need to grab some science and talk about this, right? Okay, we'd be here all day if we had to debunk absolutely every myth and outright lie about trans people and gender-affirming healthcare. But the research is out there. It's being shared in courts and in political debates and in articles written by those who would uphold trans rights. Here's the truth, people. Here's the actual truth behind 3 of the most common anti-trans claims, all right? How about this myth? Being trans is a social phenomenon sweeping through younger generations. The widely discredited trans social contagion theory can be traced to a 2018 paper where they coined the term rapid onset gender dysphoria, which some anti-trans folks have used to suggest trans adolescents, particularly trans boys, aren't trans, but are simply lesbians or girls with mental health issues who declare themselves to be trans after exposure to so-called external influences. A study published in the journal Pediatrics in 2022 found that the social contagion theory isn't supported by real-world data at all. The CDC found a small drop in the number of young people identifying as trans. It also found that the proportion of young people assigned female at birth who have come out as trans fell slightly. What has increased in recent decades is trans visibility. It's a sign that society is becoming more accepting, as a rising number of trans people feel they can live openly and receive support, including gender-affirming care. The social contagion theory feeds into harmful claims that view groups as being contaminated and capable of corrupting or grooming young people. It's just ridiculous. It reeks of rhetoric used throughout history to attack many different marginalized groups, including members of the LGBTQ+ community, people of color, women, and those with disabilities. Trans people aren't new. History shows trans people have existed in different cultures across the breadth of human existence forever. Here's myth number 2. Trans people regret transitioning. Detransitioning means stopping or reversing transition, which can include social or medical transition or both, right? So there are people who detransition, and there are a variety of reasons that can be behind such decisions, including transphobia, family pressure, and non-affirming environments. Gender-critical voices often use stories of detransition to suggest that young people shouldn't be affirmed in their transition or be allowed to access gender-affirming care. But again, recent guidelines by the World Professional Association for Transgender Health say that several studies show that there are low rates of patient regret and high rates of patient satisfaction with gender-affirming treatments and surgeries for trans people. Another study found that 94% of children who came out as trans continue to identify as trans 5 years later. There is an established consensus among most major medical organizations that gender-affirming care is vital. And countless studies show it's harmful to prevent a person from affirming their gender. Your last myth, trans people, particularly trans women, participating in sports hurt cis women. Come on, people. The reality is that trans and non-binary people have been playing sports, whether it's in schools, clubs, or leagues, for years without any unfair advantages or issues. But legislation to exclude trans people, particularly women and girls, from participating in athletics has been brought forward in several states across the U.S. Lawmakers championing trans sports bans have continuously failed to cite cases in their states where trans athletes had advantages over their cisgender counterparts. A recent report found trans women don't have any advantages over their cis peers when participating in elite sports. Additionally, research found the role testosterone plays in trans eligibility rules in the athletics is often exaggerated, as their hormone has little impact on performance differences. Trans sports bans do nothing to protect or support girls and women in sports. That's because while there are real issues facing women's sports, including unequal pay, racism, and rampant sexual assault and harassment, trans participation in athletics isn't one of them. Bans push kids and young people away from the life-changing power of sports. It deprives them of the invaluable lessons that taking part teaches, as well as the benefits that physical activity has on mental and physical health. Spread the word, get educated, people, and tell others. Why am I, a cisgendered lesbian, talking about this? Why the F not? Everyone should be talking about this and telling anyone who will listen. Our trans family members deserve it. That's it, all right? They deserve the sports, the equal pay. They don't deserve the racism, the rampant sexual assault. They don't deserve any of this, all right? Get alert, be aware, know what's going on, and also get educated. Tell others, okay? Everyone should know these things. Enough is enough. Well, so did you enjoy the show? I know you did. So make sure to click subscribe so you won't miss any of the events, news, or interviews right here on the Fay What Show. Ring the bell at the bottom of the screen, right there, so you'll be alerted every time we're live. You can also click on the Happening Out Television Network logo so you can see all of the shows on the most diverse LGBTQ+ media network. Find out just what we're doing to bring the L and the G together right here on the Fay What Show. Get the week started with me.